All right, guys, this is MobileGamerNerd, and we are back with another Raid Shadow Legends free-to-play mystery shard only run video, only heroes everyone can use. This is basically the anniversary. It's not the exact day, but this is the anniversary of the starting 5 video that we put out a long time ago. It has since reached over 26,000 views. We're very excited. It was one of the first videos I made where a lot of people really, really liked it. So I figured in honor of that, we would do a new version of it for 2024, which is basically just the same video, but we're going to be adding in the other starting champions so that I know a lot of people are like upset because they didn't pick Kale. So we're going to show off everything and we're going to show off all the heroes. We're going to show you exactly how to do this. This team will be good for any new player. It does not matter if you are pay to win, if you are not pay to win, if you are pay to play. It doesn't matter what you do. If you just started the game, this is the team that can get you through the beginning of the game and really help you out. All right, you should focus these 5 heroes technically and just build them to max, and that's it. Start with that. As soon as you get these 5 done, you're going to be ready to go. So let's look and see all the heroes real quick. We're going to check them out, where my heroes are at now, and then we're going to go into what you can do to make them better as well. So the first heroes on the roster for the starting heroes are your starting champions. So really, it just depends on which one you pick, and we're going to kind of go over which ones do what. Now, obviously, my Kale is going to be the strongest out of all of them pretty much right now. And when I say strongest, that's kind of here and there. But you're going to put your main hero, whoever the starting champion you picked, you're going to put them in the lifesteal gear that you gain from the beginning of the game for logging in for 4 days. All right. Now, that's the best that you can get. All right. It's the best thing you can get in the beginning of the game, and it'll keep your main nuker alive because they'll be able to regenerate HP. So that's what you're going to put them in. Obviously, mine's a little bit stronger now. He's going to have better gear. Then the secondary gear you can use in the chapters when you're playing through campaign in the original, I think it's like easy mode, you will unlock some new weapons. All right. You can use the attack set that you get from the first area of the game. That's fine if you want to use like the weapon. I think you get the weapon, the head, the shield, and then the glove, I believe. It's been a while. But either way, use that and then replace the 2 pieces that you're missing basically with whatever you can. So either attack or speed. As you can see, I put him in speed because speed becomes a little more important later on. And yeah, basically you just get him set up in the lifesteal and whatever other piece you can do. And that's where you're going to start him out. Now, his skills are all maxed. He basically can poison the crap out of everything. He also can inflict a critical hit, all right, 15% chance extra, and he has a fill of this turn meter when by 25% for each enemy killed. So basically, he's going to kill everything and then get turn meter back, which means he's going to constantly cycle his skills. And he has a 4-hitter, which basically does poison. Now, the reason this is so good is because it's good for all areas of the games. It's good for the dungeons where you're killing bosses. It is good for the clan boss. It is good for Doom Tower. It's literally good all over the place. So he is basically the number 1 choice for all people who start. So if you just started, if you literally just started yesterday, just restart and pick Kale. Like, that's honestly your best bet. You will get them all eventually. So if you didn't do it and you don't want to reset, that's fine. You can still do it without him. It's just way easier to get through the early stages of the game and all the quests. All right. Now, these are his masteries. We're just going to do a quick overview. We're not going to go too crazy into each one. I just want to show you them and kind of show you what their strengths and weaknesses are and where they'll be good and where they might, you might kind of falter a bit. All right. Now, his masteries are there. His stats as of right now are pretty reasonable. He's got crit rate. You want to get crit rate on all your heroes, and you want to get crit damage on your heroes as well. But in the beginning, it's crit rate. That's it. You need your crit rate up because as long as this is somewhere around that 85 range, all of your heroes are going to constantly crit, doing more damage all the time. Eventually down the road, you'll switch into crit damage, and that's basically what you're going to do. All right, now he has some resistance, but accuracy is his main trait. You want to make sure he can land the poisons and constantly do damage with them. You also want to make sure he has a reasonable amount of defense, all right? He's almost at 3,000 defense. We do have him in a defense chest, and the reason being is because, like I said, his damage is from poison. All right, that's his main thing. So you just want to constantly cycle those poisons. So if he has accuracy, he can land the poisons, and if he has defense, he doesn't die and keep those poisons going. However, he is also good as a nuker because his multipliers are very good, so he can do damage in the arena as well. All right, next one on the list of the starting heroes. We'll go through all the starters first, and then actually pull the 5 together. All right, so Golem. He's probably the second best out of the 4, at least in my opinion. I mean, you could make an argument for Elhain, but it just depends on what you're trying to do. He basically would be in the same set, all right? Mostly attack because you want him to be just straight attack. Now, mine's not going to be as good as my Kale because my Kale has, I've been using him since the beginning. He's obviously been ranked up a lot more. But his skills are kind of cool. He actually has an attack on the A1, which hits 2 times, which is very good for Fire Knight because you need to break a shield down. In order to do that, you need to hit it more times. His AoE attack is incredibly strong, all right? So he has a very strong hit, and they could all be campaign farmers, but Kale and I would say Galek are probably, if not the best out of the 4 for it, but Elhain can also do it. She has 2 AoEs, so yeah, it is good too. And he has a 4-hitter, which is also good for Fire Knight, which you can use to decrease defense, which is nice also for Fire Knight, especially if you're going to try and do some kind of turn meter stuff and keep the shield down. You can have defense down also and do more damage to the boss. His masteries are basically going to be in line with Kale. He's a little bit different, not much. Most of the main ones are going to be looking like this. And his artifact stats, just so you can see them, he's got about 4,800 attack. He's got 35,000 HP, 1745 defense. Speed is very low, 166. I don't use these heroes as much. His crit rate is basically where I said it should be, around 85, 86. 138 crit damage, and he has a little bit of accuracy, basically just so he can land his defense down. Now, for him, same thing. You want crit rate on his gloves, you want attack on his chest, and you want speed on his boots. That's for all of these heroes, right? It's going to be the same thing for all of them outside of Kale, which maybe you would want to put into a defense chest later on. Early game, I would probably stick to attack just so you can do more damage and kind of beat things a little bit quicker. And then eventually, once you're like pushing clan boss and doing things like that and dragon hard, all that stuff, yeah, you're going to put them into defense. Now, Elhain, on the other hand, we have her built more as an arena champ, all right? Now, all of them can be used as arena champs, all right? Every single one of them can be used as an arena hero. However, Elhain seems to be more suited for the arena because she doesn't have any skills. Like, all her skills are damage. So she does an extra attack if she's critical. She does an attack on all enemies, all right? Has a 15% chance of inflicting a critical hit. Places a 30% increased crit rate buff on this champion for 3 turns if the target's killed. So that's kind of nice, but also there's no accuracy needed. And then she attacks all enemies 2 times. She literally needs nothing but damage. So you can put her in a ton of just crit rate, crit damage, and attack, and just make her insanely fast, and she's just going to kill everything very quickly. So you don't have to focus on accuracy with her, which is why she's so good for the arena. Now, we did build her in an arena build, so we got her in Helm Smasher, and we went down the defense tree. So this is a good build for her if you're using her solely for arena. If you're not using her for arena, honestly, it's probably just as good to do this. I can't even. There's no reason to go into support for her because she doesn't need it. So I would probably do this build regardless of how I was using her. All right. Her skills we went through, artifacts, basically the same thing: crit rate, attack, speed, all that same stuff. All of their rings should be basically attack. All of their amulets should be crit damage, and all of their banners should basically be accuracy, except for Elhain, who you can just put in a lot of attack. I don't remember if I did put her in attack. Yeah, we just put her in an attack banner just to give her more damage, and that was it. All right, so her stats, basically, she's got 4,800 attack, 33,000 HP, 2,100 defense, 184 speed. Crit rate is at 93, so reasonable. 122 crit damage, not so good, but good enough. Resistance as 111, and accuracy is 121, basically just because that's the gear we had. So everything else, if there was more crit rate and crit damage, I would put it on her. All right. And then we've got Aethel. Now, I talk smack about Aethel a lot. She's actually gotten me through some of the more harder parts of the city and some secret room stuff, but ultimately, she is the worst one out of all 4. She's just not that good. She's slow in the sense that she has an extra skill, which basically will do she has a wasted skill, essentially. It increases her attack by 25%. It's on her only, and then it places a 30% increased defense buff on this champion for 2 turns if this champion's current HP is less than 50%. So, I mean, first of all, I don't want our HP to be lower than 50%, so that basically nullifies the defense. The attack up is stupid because it's 25%, and there's plenty of other heroes on the team that you could put on there that'll give you 50%, which you'll see with Spirit Host. And yeah, her main hit hits 3 times. That's literally the only thing she really has going for her. She does have an AoE, which the other ones do as well, but she's really just for Fire Knight. So you'll have a little bit of an easier time with Fire Knight. And even that, I would say, is kind of not true because she hits 3 times with her A1, but The other guys have 2 hitters and 4 hitters, so it kind of will even out eventually, especially if you make them fast. But she's definitely better to get the shield down. All right, we have used her in some of the other fights, and that's basically her one trait that is really good. She can campaign farm, but she's going to be slow as crap because she's going to have to waste turns using this attack up unless you turn it off, in which case she has to be strong enough to use those skills anyway. I would not pick her. If you did pick her, then just try to do your best with her, and maybe when you get someone better, use them as your main nuker. But you could wait for basically Dark Aethel or Dark Elhain. Dark Aethel or Dark Elhain. Either one would be better than this. So yeah, and those are all login champions. Her mastery is she goes down to Giant Slayer, mainly because we want her to get extra damage from each of the 3 hits, and then she has an accuracy set as well. Artifact, same thing. You're going to see she has crit damage because we have her crit rate a little bit lower. We've been messing around with her gear and kind of stealing it for other heroes because I don't use her as much. She does have a defense chest because I made her a little more defensive just because it seemed to work better with her in keeping her alive for the Fire Knight. It's not necessary. You can just put her in attack and make her a nuker. That is fine. It will work just as well. And we have not rebuilt her since the beginning. So if you are planning on using her, I would probably make her more attack oriented and less defensive. But since I don't use her for any of that stuff, I can leave her defensive and she works better for me in my personal account. Same thing. We've got her in attack, crit damage, and resistance because once again, she only has one skill, I think, that does a weaken, right? Yeah, she's a weaken. Everything else is whatever. So you don't really need accuracy unless that weaken is like the one and only thing you need from her, in which case you probably should just get someone else. But yeah, that's basically Aethel. Now, the starting 5. The actual starting 5 would be any one of the 4 heroes that we have right now that we just showed you. All right, so that's your first hero. Any one of them will work. They're all going to be good. The second hero you're going to need, we're going to go in the order of importance, all right? I'm going the wrong way. The second hero you will want, everyone else is farmable. So you can farm them from the campaign, and I'll show you where. So Spirit Host is the next one. She is the best hero in the game. I freaking love her. She is so good. I know everyone says Apothecary, and I agree. He is good. Spirit Host is disgustingly good, and I just love her. Most people tell you she's garbage. She is amazing. I think her ratings have actually gone up since we started doing this series because people started liking her now. All right, so she hits one attack. She has an attack on one enemy, which heals by 50% of the damage inflicted. That means that she's going to heal by half of her damage. Already amazing. So you don't even need lifesteal. She places a 50% increased attack buff on all allies. So that means everyone on your team is getting 50% more attack. And she can remove debuffs on all allies and block debuffs for 1 turn. So she can do both things on 1 skill. Now, she does have an aura that increases speed by 10% in all battles. So that basically means you can use her in any fight, and she will immediately increase your speed by 10 if you use her as your leader. Now, we have her in Phantom Touch because it gives her more damage. And her masteries are basically just attack all the way down to War Master, and we have some extra healing stuff in here for support. That's because we want her to be able to heal. The whole thing here is we want her to have damage, and we want her to be able to heal with that damage, all right? Now, her artifacts, we put her in a shield set in the beginning of the game. You get one from doing the Fire Knight quest, just from following the missions in the beginning of the game. That's basically all you should be doing in the beginning is finishing challenges and missions anyway, so you'll get the shield set. Now we have her in a bolster set. All right, so the bolster is basically the shield set, but what it does is it heals her every round. So now she heals with her attack, and she heals every single turn by 10%. So she's constantly getting heal back up. And we have her as our second fastest hero, which basically means she can just always do the attack up, and she's constantly going fast and healing herself back up. We do have her in a HP chest. We have her in an attack glove. She's a weird build. Speed boot. We have attack ring, we have a defense amulet, and we have resistance on her banner. Now, why did we do this? Honestly, it's a mishmash of stuff that I just had on her in the beginning. We may rebuild her eventually, but she needs to have attack. She needs to do more damage to heal herself. She needs defense because she can't die. We want her to be a little bit defensive, not too crazy, but enough. And we want her to have speed. So that's really her thing. We put her in the resistance so she doesn't get stunned, and that's why she is where she's at. Total stats for her. Her crit rate is going to be garbage, right? 45,000. She's got 3,400 attack, 2,200 defense, 253 speed. Yes, 253. You read that right. 41% crit rate. Crit damage is 108, and she's got 256 resistance, and her accuracy is literally there just because that's the gear that we had on her. So I would probably remove all of this and probably try to work it into crit rate so that she can do more crits and get more healing back. Then I would probably put more into defense and attack and go from there. And if you can get more speed, great, then that would be fine. So her crit rate's not as important. It's useful, but it's not as important. Her thing is just staying alive and keeping everyone with their attack up. She is really good at soloing things and keeping herself alive, so that is another option as well. But yeah, she's a great hero. She's going to be your first hero because she gives Kale or whoever your main hero is their 50% attack boost. So that's the first thing. So now you're going to have 50% more attack on everything. Your second hero, War Maiden. She's going to be the one that basically does defense down. All right. Her skills are attacks one enemy, has a 30% chance of placing 2.5% poison debuff for one turn. She hits every single enemy and places a 50. Oh, sorry. This is an attack on one enemy. Places 50% increased attack buff on this champion and places an extra hit if the attack is critical. This extra hit cannot be critical. So that's just a single hit. And then this is what makes her so good is that she hits the entire team with a 60% decreased defense debuff. So basically, the way this is working is if you haven't guessed already, is that you're going to have Spirit Host coming in with her attack up to make everyone do more damage. She's going to hit them now, doing 50% more damage, and then drop their defense 60%. And then Kale's going to come in, or your main damage dealer, and smack them, and they're going to die in one hit. So that's basically why War Maiden would be the second person on the list. Masteries, same stuff. Basically, most of these are going to be about the same, all the way down to War Master, and then going down the support tree into some accuracy stuff and some debuff increases and turn meter specialties. Her artifacts, you can put her in whatever you want. Attack is probably good in the beginning. You can put her into the attack set once you get Kale or whoever your main hero is into their lifesteal set. But eventually you're probably going to put her in some kind of a speed set like we have now. Attack isn't as important on her, but it is definitely good, and it helps if she is a little bit stronger. She's probably better as more of a defensive hero and just keeping the defense down going on. So you're going to need some accuracy. My accuracy is actually very low. We're at 143. So we will have to rebuild her eventually. But so far, she's been working pretty well the way she is. And I still use her in my arena teams today. So just so you know, she is still worth it. Her stats. She's got 38,000 HP, 33 attack. She's got 2780 defense. She's got 239 speed, 85% crit rate, 116 crit damage, 152 resist, and 143 accuracy. I would probably take all that resist and put it into her accuracy if I were to rebuild her right now. But having the resistance isn't bad. So either way, it works out. So the next person on our list is Valerie. All right. Now, Valerie is farmable in the first stage. She's not super necessary in the early game. You're going to actually hate her when you first get her. You're going to think she's terrible, and you're going to be like, Mr. Mobile Gamer Nerd, why are you so stupid, and why did you make me get Valerie? Well, because Valerie, once maxed, is literally one of the best heroes in the game and can get you through a lot of the early game stuff by keeping your team alive, especially when paired with Spirit Host in her shield set. If you can get Valerie into a shield set early on, you can give her the HP set from the second campaign area. Once you beat the first time you beat the second campaign, you get an HP set. And normally you'll put it on War Priest, but you can put it on Valerie and she'll be fine. I actually had that set on her for a very long time. I maxed it out to 16, and she used that for, honestly, months. And eventually you will push her into more, higher end gear and then the bolster set. And then you've got Valerie and Spirit Host in a bolster set, giving you a huge shield basically every single round and every wave. And the good news about her is she can attack one enemy. I know that's the stupidest thing ever, right? But she also can increase the duration of all buffs on all allies and decrease the duration of all debuffs on all allies. She does it by one turn on each of them. So if you have attack up and a poison, basically now you have attack up for 2 rounds instead of 1, and the poison's gone. See what I mean? So awesome skill. Honestly, this is what really makes her amazing. But then she also, on top of it, has a shield and a heal, which seems like it's terrible in the beginning. But once you get her masteries and you level her up to 60, the shield is based on her level. So unfortunately, you have to build her to max in order to make her shield useful. We're going to drink some tea. And then we're going to go in and look at this. So basically, she's going to be your healer. She's mainly for dungeons. You're not going to use her in arena, so she would honestly be the last one out of all of them that I would build. All right, just because she's more for 5-man dungeoning. She's not going to be useful so much in the 4-person stuff or in campaign, unless you just happen to have some kind of a battle that you're just having trouble staying alive in, and she keeps you alive for that. She's basically HP all around, HP 50%, defense on her her glove, speed on her boots. She's got HP on her ring, HP on her amulet, and resistance on her banner so that she can not get stunned. Always good things. Her total stats, actually, we'll look at her masteries. Her masteries are a little bit different. It's almost all healing and shields. So it's basically mostly like increasing the value of shields and heals, which gets her shield up pretty high. And it'll basically heal by about, anywhere. I mean, for my hero, somewhere between, I don't know, 8 and 13,000 per hero ish, somewhere around there, depending on what's going on. So it's at least reasonable, and it's on a low cooldown. That's the only thing that's going to stop her from being that great. All right. Her total stats as of right now are 58,000 HP, 2,600 attack, 3,000 defense, 186 speed, 61 crit rate, 75 crit damage, 265 resist, and 120 accuracy, because she doesn't need accuracy at all. She doesn't need it in any way. You can literally remove it from her, and she's awesome. Now, the final part of the starting 5 team is actually 2 heroes. And the reason I say it's 2 heroes is because one's better than the other. So now Diablas is the one you can farm from stage 12 in the campaign. She's a speed up specialist, basically. She can sleep people with her A1. She can attack all enemies and increase the speed on all allies for 2 turns. And she can fill the turn meter of all allies by 15% and decrease the turn meter of all allies by 15%. Now, we have her in a stun set right now. You can put her in whatever you want. I would recommend speed, and more speed. You want her to be one of the fastest, actually the fastest hero on the team. So she is going to be the fastest, and then she's going to come in, increase the turn meter of all your heroes so that you can go first at all times, and then you're going to have the next person come in. I'll show you how that works. So now skills. In a second, actually, we'll show that right after. So these are her masteries. We have her more defensive and more support because we want her to land the stuns from her gear. If you are using her for more attack, it is conceivable that, yes, you can take off defense and go into offense tree down to War Master like everyone else. There's nothing wrong with that. I highly recommend you do whichever one makes you happy. That's what I recommend, all right? Either one works, but we're going more for the stuns for late game, which is why we built her the way we did. All right, and it gives her a little more defense and some counterattacks, which is kind of nice as well. Artifacts right now, we have her in a crit rate glove. I say that too many times. Defense chest and speed boot. We want her to stay alive and be fast. That's it. All right, and then we've got defense on the ring. We've got HP on her little amulet, and we've got attack on her banner. Honestly, it's because it's what I had. I don't think I've ever changed it because I don't care, because I don't use her that much, but you'll see why I don't use her in a second. But yeah, that's basically where she's at. We looked at her stats, right? Yeah, that's all her stats. She's got a 213 speed right now. It's not great, but not terrible. She's not faster than the rest of my team, which you'll notice, but I'll show you why that in a second. So 47,000. We've got 2,900 attack. We've got 2,400 defense, 85 crit rate, 90% crit damage, and her accuracy is 134 and resistance is 125. So she's literally not built well at all because we took all of her gear mainly and put it on someone else. Now, she's good for your speed lead early game. She can still do the dungeons and the things that we're going to be doing today. All right. But she's nowhere near as good as someone you can get that you have to pull, unfortunately. And that is Apothecary. He is a rare. Now, he is essentially probably considered the best rare in the game. All right. He's basically a legendary in disguise. And why is he so good? Well, because he has a 3-hitter on his A1, so you're immediately good for Fire Knight. All right. He's got a heal, which can be critical, which is crazy, by 30%, 35% of the target ally's HP, which is also crazy. And he places a 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns and fills their turn meter by 15%. So that means he fills the turn meter to max and pops the speed on them, and he can heal by insane amounts, and he has a 3-hitter on his A1. So he's just a monster, and it's on very low cooldowns. This is basically, once you max him out, 3 turns. That means every other turn he can boost your speed. See what I mean? Crazy. You only miss 1 round of speed. And then here, he gets that every 2 turns. He can heal someone basically to max HP, which is great. So you're going to actually find out that he only uses Scatterbolt very, very rarely, because it's like a one-off chance that he actually has to use it. Usually he's just going to speed up. The only time he actually uses this skill is when he's bored. So you'll know if your Apothecary's bored if he's using his A1 more. Masteries, basically down the Giant Slayer, pretty much standard stuff, and then also into all the healing. You want him to have the most heals and healing people when they're stunned and all that other stuff over here. Now, his stats as of right now, we have him in a bunch of speed stuff, all right? So we have him in defense glove, defense chest, speed boot, We have him on a defense ring, a defense amulet, and a defense banner. He doesn't need accuracy at all. Literally no accuracy needed for him. And you can just throw him in as much speed as possible. This is why my Diablas isn't fast. All right. Say 265. He is the fastest, literally the fastest hero, I think, in my entire account. And that's not saying much because 265 is not high for speed. But for me, it is high. So 265 is the highest speed on my account. And the reason is because we want him to go faster than everyone else. So he's got 43,000 HP, 2,300 attack, 4,000 defense because we went crazy. The 265 speed, 32 crit rate. If you want his heal to be crit, I would give him some more crit. I just don't have it. I ended up getting accuracy rolls. It's just what I have. Eventually, we'll pull this out and put it into crit. Crit damage is 102, and resistance is 240. Now, basically, the way this team works is you have to synergize the team by speed tuning them. Now, what that means is that you need the heroes that you want to go first to go in order. Otherwise, this team falls apart very quickly. All right. So Apothecary needs to go first. He's going to increase the turn meter of the whole team, and he's going to increase the speed of everyone so they go first. All right. So he needs to have the highest speed. So we go in here, and there you go. 265 speed. The next person on our team, all right, needs to have a speed that is lower than 265. Who would be the next person on our team? I'm going up and down for no reason. Spirit Host. Why? Because she's the one that needs to increase everyone's attacks so that the attacks that come after it are all going to do 50% more damage. So now when you look at her speed, it makes more sense. So now she's 253. So it goes Apothecary 265 and then into Spirit Host, who's 253. All right. Then we need to do drop defense so that the next person does more damage. So every turn, someone's going to do more damage. So now her speed is at 239. All right. So it's lower than hers. And now the next person needs to be lower than 239. That's your nuker. As you can see, we don't have a problem with this. We're 188 on my main nuker. All right. Now, this should be higher. It means that I can push him to like a 220 and it would be better because he'll go first more often. I just haven't been able to find a set that matches the things I need him to do as well as I have him going right now. So that's why it hasn't changed and why he's been 188 for a very long time. We will eventually change him, but I would say if you can get his speed up higher than into that 200 range, that's probably a good idea, but we're talking the beginning of the game anyway, so it don't matter. He's going to be the fastest one on your team when you first get him because the speed boots from your lifesteal set that you get for free and from some of the other pieces are going to just make him insanely faster than everyone. He's just going to be fast. So that's it. You're going to have to suck it up for the first week until you actually build out your gear and start putting on the correct stuff for everybody. Okay. Valerie is a mishmash. It doesn't matter where she is because it doesn't matter when she goes. Her speed's 186, so she is slower as of right now than Kale. But that's good because it means that at the last second, when everyone has done their turn, she's either going to increase the duration of the buffs on your team, which is nice, or she'll pop a shield. See what I mean? So it's actually fine that she's 186 and a little bit slower. I would eventually probably say build her up to be as fast as you want her to be. It doesn't really matter what her speed is, as long as she's good enough to do what you need her to do. All right. Faster is better because it means more shields. Now, as far as everyone else, their speeds aren't going to match, so it doesn't really matter. Now, why does this work? It's because you want to go into the arena, and this is going to help you not just in the arena, but everywhere. So let's say you go into the arena here, and you want to fight a team. It's going to be tough to find a team that we can do this to. Tag team arena is usually easier for this. Let's see, who's a team that we could possibly beat that's not a speed team? Remember, we're in gold 5 right now, so it's going to be a little bit rougher. Now, my speeds are nowhere near the speeds that you're going to see on some of these teams with these higher end battles. All right, so here we go. Here's a team that's reasonable. So we pull these guys out, and you're going to put your speed lead in, which is your what's her name? Spirit Host. You're going to put in your defense down. You're going to put in your Kale, and then you are going to take your speed lead, which in this case will be Apothecary. But you can use Diablas for this role, and it will work just as fine, and you will be able to beat stuff with it. All right. Actually, here, let's just use Diablas because I don't want to be a liar. So there we go. All right. Now, actually, that's not going to work because she's not going to be faster. I just realized she's not faster. So, well, she is faster than Kale, but that's about it. So we're going to put these guys in and keep it on auto. The point here is that you want Apothecary to speed up. You'll watch, say speed up, then attack up, then defense down, and then Kale comes in and nukes everybody. Now, this is a tough team, so they may get some turns. There you go. And that hero can revive, all right? And that guy's obviously doing some crazy stuff. He killed that dude. Now, hopefully, and then once they put some debuffs on your team, Spirit Host can remove them. And that's literally the best arena team you can do in the beginning of the game. Forget all the other crap that everyone's doing. Forget all that nonsense. This is the team that you want. As long as they're speed tuned the way I just showed you. And Apothecary is fastest, Spirit Host is second fastest, War Maiden is the next fastest, Kale is the next fastest. You will win 90% of your fights as long as they don't have a Arbiter in the lead or a speed lead that is super fast and just did their whole team fast. If you're better than me, you will build your team a lot faster than what I just showed you. Like literally high-end teams, I mean, you're talking like 300, 400 speed. So just know what you're up against and try to stay away from speed leads, and you'll finish your arena quests pretty easy with maybe a few 5 gem refreshes here and there just to get through it. All right. So that's the arena. And this also goes for the same thing for tag team. You can use these teams in here and it will work just fine. I'm not going to go through this one, but say this is still my arena team. Literally, it's still my tag team arena team because it's that effective. Okay, just to kind of give you an idea. And I didn't just do this for the video. That's literally this is my arena. This is my tag team arena team. This is what I use every single day, unless I have to switch somebody to do something. And all you have to do is have a speed lead on every single one. All right, so you can still use Diablas if you don't have Arbiter. She can be your third speed lead in here, so that's someone else that is good as someone in there. Now, that's for arena. Now, as far as dungeons, so if you're going to go through some dungeons, Minotaur doesn't matter. Everyone can do it. You just need to level up your heroes. Now, Fire Knight, basically, all of them are going to be able to get through this. All right. All of them should be good enough to do it. We're going to go in here. So this is a poison team. We're not going to be focused on that. So this is stage what? 15? Let me see. Can we do 15? I'm trying to think what the stage limits are for this team. I feel like they can do it. So here's Valerie. Now in Fire Knight, we would probably think that, Kale's probably the better option. We'll bring in Aethel just because. It is what it is. I think 15 might be too much for this team right now just because of the shield. I'm not 100% sure. Actually, no, because we have Apothecary. We have Apothecary in here also, so that actually does kind of work. Apothecary is the better version of this, and Diablas can be used. We'll use Diablas in Dragon just so you can see the mix mash. And we're Spirit Host. But where are you? Where are you, Spirit Host? I want to say that this is going to work, but we're gonna hope for the best here. So the good news here is that we have a 3-hitter on Aethel. Now, I'm going to show you the strengths of each hero. All right, now, as you see, even with a defense chest, Aethel just put up 50k damage with the attack up, all right? So that means that she can do way more damage, all right, than what mine is doing right now if you put her in all attack. So as much as I crap on her all the time, I have her built in a weird way. So don't think that she's built the best way. Everyone else is built pretty much how I use them and are pretty effective at what they do, even if it's like a one-off thing. But you saw the difference now. That was 20,000 damage she just did. And that's because she didn't have that extra attack, I think. I think she was using hers, to be honest. So now we have the shield. So see how there's a number 10 there? It's going down, this little shield. You have to get that number down. So, yes, in this scenario, see, she hits 3 times. Aethel's great for this fight. And then you've got Apothecary who can do some stuff. You've got defense down, all right? And you've got a heal. Now, there's the only thing missing from this team would be a heal reduction, obviously, but we're just talking about the starting 5 heroes and which ones can actually get you through the fights. This team will get you through the fight. It's just going to be a little bit slower because they only have a few 3-hitters, see, and we have a weekend, which is very nice. They're strong right now, so they are going to be able to get through this. However, you might have a little more trouble in this fight, and if you do, I have plenty of videos in the dungeon section of my playlists, and you can see the teams that work in this fight and which ones are going to be more effective than others. But yes, this team can do this eventually, all right? There you go. Stage 15, starting 5 team. Now, Apothecary is a better choice as this, but we're going to use Diablas on the next one. So now, when we go into the other dungeons, all right, Dragon. Now, Dragon is more of Kale's playground. This guy is resistant to a lot of crap, okay? Like, he's resistant to tons of stuff. And that's why the poisons are good, because you can just kind of take away all of his all of his HP just by poisoning him to death, and he just eventually just dies. So the only downside here is that Valerie is now your only person that is going to be doing the healing and shields. All right, but you have a shield every round because of the bolster or shield set, whichever one you have on. And the good news is we do have Diablas in a stun set, so it makes the waves a little bit better because she has an A1 that always attacks all enemies. I think, right? No, that's the sleep. It's her A2, so she can attack all enemies and stun them, but she can also sleep them with her A1. So that's kind of nice too. But either way, you might have some trouble with getting through some block damage stuff. But other than that, this fight should basically be a breeze. You're going to see that she's not going to stun that guy, so now we have to go an extra round with this bonehead who has the slowest speed ever with the block damage, so that you have to sit here and watch it. And I'm going to make you watch it because you know what? I have to sit here and watch it every time I do this fight for you guys. But there you go. I mean, either way, it's just going to, luckily there's no turn meter manipulation in this fight. So essentially eventually she's going to get stunned, which she just did. And now she doesn't get a turn. And look at that, one hit of all of a sudden her defense just dropped. It's so funny. All right. So there you go. Boss goes down very quickly. Look at that. All the poisons. And you've got shields. You got removal of debuffs. You've got attack up. You're not going to have any trouble in Dragon probably for a little while. I would assume somewhere past 15 is when you're going to really start having trouble here if you're building your main team at a reasonable rate. But look at that. They blocked all that crap. But granted, we have a lot more resistance, right? The good news is, even if you don't have resistance, it don't matter because you've got two heroes in this team that can either remove debuffs outright or lower the turn of them by 1. So that way you only got to deal with those poisons for 1 round rather than 2, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. And there you go. Stage 15 down, we got a 6-star shield with defense and resist. All right, I don't want that because there's no speed on it, but yeah, you can have that. That can be yours. Stage 15. All right, so there's Dragon. All right, now let's go in. We've used Kale. We've used Aethel. Now we're going to go into the Spider. All right, now this is a little bit different. Yeah, I know, we're in hard mode. We're going to go into Spider, and we're going to go into Stage 10. We're not going to waste time on the high-end stuff because these are very long fights, and the teams that you use for this specific dungeon get a little more specific the more you go. So we're going to take Kale out of here. Now, realistically in here, you could just use a bunch of nukers. So you could just bring in literally your whole starting 5. I mean, all the starting champions are usable here, but you're not going to have that when you first get to stage 10. So we need defense down. We need a damage dealer, which it will, in this instance, will be, I'm thinking Golek will be better suited for the other one. So we're gonna use Elhain. All right, so we're gonna use Elhain as our main mistress. All right, we've got our attack up. We'll bring in Diablas, and then we will bring in Valerie. Where are you? Now, the thing with this team here is, now for this we're gonna do speed, I think. No, we're gonna do HP because this could be rough. We're gonna see if this works. I'm hoping it does. I'm so used to not having things work sometimes, but this is stage 10 now. All right, and honestly, stage 10 is about the furthest you really want to push for damage versus healing on the Spider. You can push this team in the starting 5 up to stage 15, so it is possible. The fights are extremely long. They can handle it, but more than likely it would have to be with Apothecary at that level. Diablas probably would have some trouble unless your teams are like where my teams are at. Like my team, I could probably put into 15 and they'll destroy it. But just for the sake of the video, 10's a little bit easier, and honestly, 10's better to farm because you can get your 5-star gear pretty easily, and it only takes 30 seconds with a really good team. This team, they'll bang it out in like a minute and a half. If you get a heal, say like the heal might just cause you to get the extra minute and a half. But other than that, they can run this fight. And is this the best team for it? No. Is it going to win the first time you get here? No. But this is what you can do with the starting 5, all right? It is possible to get to the point where you can beat these things, all right, with just these heroes. It's not like it's not the end of the world. And if you need help getting through some of these fights, once again, I have dungeon tutorials on each one of the dungeons, and you can see how your team evolves and changes and what heroes are going to help you get through those fights easier. All right, so now that was there. Now we're going to bring in Golek, Mr. Golek. Boop. Into where were we? Ice Golem. So now it's Golek's time to shine. in his starting 5 moments. Like I said, we're going to try to use Diablas more because Apothecary is better. And I don't want you guys to get disheartened that you don't have him. So where are you, Mr. Gleck? So we are going to use these two. We're going to use Valerie, and we are going to use Mr. Golek. Where are you, my green-faced friend? And now here, speed is good, but I would probably put your starter in the lead because this is going to give you a team that can stay alive a little bit longer. It gives you HP. Ice Golem is a little bit more rough with damage output, and he does kind of wreck your team sometimes. And even my team, if I do too much damage right now, will get killed. So I will have heroes that die. And I have had it where certain heroes will literally, I'll have Valerie be the one that kills the boss or Spirit Host because they're just the strongest and most defensive ones. They stay alive longer and can heal themselves. So remember, like I said, this is all stage 15. There's no special heroes here. These are all farmable, and we'll show you where they all come from. But all these heroes are viable and can be used to beat these dungeons eventually if you just level, gain experience, build up your masteries, build up your gear, build up your awakenings, build everything. Just keep going, get new gear, use your glyphs. All right. The biggest thing that people can mess up on is not using glyphs early on, because even those level 1 glyphs, it's like you might get an extra 5 or 6 speed, which might be just enough to beat something, because maybe it's enough to put you faster than the enemy that you're fighting. If the enemy goes first when you walk into a fight, more than likely you're not fast enough. That's the best thing I can say for anyone who's just started this game. You need to be faster than whatever you're fighting. If you're not, go back to the drawing board and figure it out. But see, they are surviving it. He's got the defense down. Now the boss has defense down. We got a little bit of a shield, which is a nice buffer to keep us alive if he hits us with that attack again, which I don't know if he is. See, and then everyone's frozen. And if everyone gets hit with defense down right before that, it can kill you. So there you go. But boom, everybody here is a winner. Stage 15, Ice Golem's Peak, with all rare heroes that are all farmable. So let's go into campaign real quick and look and see where you get these guys. All right. So obviously the first 5, the starting 5 here, I mean the starting 4 heroes. I should probably not mix that up. So the 4 starters, you have to choose one. So you can't get them all until you summon one. So you have to pick one. So it's really just from what you just saw, they can all do things. All right. But it's like certain ones are better in other areas. So campaign. All right, stage 1, you can farm Valerie. All right, she's here. I just farm stage 3 because you get the most money for shields. Should you farm them on brutal, on hard, on it doesn't matter. Like in the beginning, just beat quests with Kale and whatever the heck that chick's name is, War Priest. You can do most of this stuff with those 2 alone, and just keep pushing through the quests. You're going to get some heroes as you go. You get the Ogre, Rocktooth. You get a couple of different heroes for free. Just use the ones you get for free, and then when you have a moment or have to, farm something for a quest, come back and then just see if you can get one. You only need 1 copy of them. We're not trying to max their skills right from the beginning. The beginning, you just want to get them, try to ascend them, and get them to at least level 40, before you start pushing forward. So that's the first one. Second one is in stage 4. There you go. You can also get Greybeard. Here's Spirit Host. You can also get Greybeard here, who is an awesome free champion. Conqueror was also in that first area as well. Then when you move forward into stage 9, in the Barbarians area, the Deadlands, right here, you can get War Maiden, who is awesome for free. And you can also end up having Berserker drop, who's actually a really good DPS as well. So if he does drop, you can use him as a 4th or 5th hero until you unlock the rest of the heroes that I'm talking about right now. And then you go into the Brimstone Path, and you can get Diablas. And you will also find Houndspawn, who is literally probably one of my favorite heroes in the game at this point, but he's only good when paired with Hellfang. So just be forewarned, it's going to take some work to get them to where they are. You can watch some of my videos in my champion spotlight on these guys if you're interested. But these guys are kind of fun, and I actually love these doggos. They are the best. All right, so that's where you get your heroes. As far as gear goes, like I said, stage 1, when you go into easy or normal, when you beat normal, you get a 3-star attack set for Kale. When you beat stage 2, you get a 3-star HP set for War Priest. Once you move forward, I believe in one of these areas, you will be getting Rock Tooth from here. So he's a free hero, which you can actually farm from here. Say Rock Tooth, you can get him. He's actually a pretty good early game hero to help you out until you get the starting 5 together. So you can use him when you get him for free. You can farm here if you want to get your Spirit Host as you go on. And then once you get over here, you can farm in Palace of Arabia if you want on stage 6 to get some boots that have speed, or you could just farm maybe stage 7 if you want. It's up to you, and just get a bunch of speed gear for some of your heroes if you're lacking. Otherwise, if you need the speed gear, there is a noob tournament that goes on every single time you start an account. And if you can, you don't have to be number 1. You just have to clear the event. You will get an entire speed set for your speed hero. So if that's Diablas or Apothecary, whichever one, and you can use that for them. And eventually you will get from over here, you're going to get a HP set, which has a shield on it, and you're going to get an ignore defense set. Those are both really good. You can put the shield set onto either Spirit Host or Valerie. More than likely Valerie. I would probably stick with more attack or speed for what is her name, for Spirit Host. But you can use the shield HP set for her, and then the attack set with the ignore defense you can put onto Kale, and that will work out. And then eventually you'll put the life steal onto Kale, and you will move from the 3-star attack set onto War Maiden. So that's basically the order of operations for the early game. You will get a bunch of free stuff here too, some potions and things like that that'll help you level up. All right, so that's where you get everything you need, and that's where you get your gear. Let's go into some more advanced things just real quick just to show you. Let's go into the Doom Tower. We are working all the way up. We finished normal today, so we did all that. This is the last fight in the game of Doom Tower. This is just this one. All right, so let's pull in our starting 5. So we've got you, we've got you. Just for fun, we're not going to use Kale. We'll use someone else. Let's see if they can handle it. We're going to bring in Diablas. We're going to try it out with Elhain, and then we need Valerie. Where are you, Valerie? There you go. So we're going to do a speed lead because I want to go faster. Now the problem is I don't know about the speed here. I don't know about the freezings and stuff, but these are the teams that I was using when I first beat Doom Tower. All right, it wasn't like I just up and all of a sudden one day beat it. We might lose this. I don't know. Sometimes you lose, sometimes you win. It also sometimes there's battles that you need to have. You don't need to go auto on. Like some of these fights, I may have to not auto it because there's too many variables. Sometimes there's a bunch of debuffs. Sometimes there's unkillables. There's a whole bunch of variables that go into these fights. But as you can see, they can do these things. Whether they can do them more efficiently than a legendary, look at that with the stun set. That's why she's actually not bad. And as you can see, Elhain is my weakest, I think, as of right now. It's just funny. She used to be my strongest. But yeah, having that Sippy that can see. So this would be one of those things where we just did a video like this. I actually can't turn it off. So unfortunately, we're going to have to wait it out and hope for the best. And hopefully we can kill that Sippy before she revives the whole team. I don't know if it's going to happen, though. We don't have a reviver here, remember. So if anyone dies, we are dead. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, see, that revival is a little bit rough, and there goes War Maiden. So like I said, I shouldn't have put it on auto. I really shouldn't have done the auto thing. But there you go. We're going to hopefully be able to beat it. I have a feeling we're going to lose this one because I have to take it off auto. We had to beat certain fights without that, unfortunately. This is one of those fights where if you don't kill the Siffy first, unfortunately, she's just going to keep reviving everyone, and it's going to go forever. I like when this kind of stuff happens so that you guys can see that I'm not playing with you guys. Like this is literally what I used to do. Like I used to go into these dungeons and just I would suck. Like that was it. Like if we lost, we lost, and if we won, we won. Those guys are very strong, by the way. Like they do a ton of damage. Mountain King, he's probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest heroes in the game as far as like a single target smack to the face. So yeah, and they have a ton of defense. So the fact that they killed War Maiden is going to hurt. Well, there you go. Counterattack. Now, hopefully they go for him. They're going to wake up the other one, I think. Yep, they're going to wake the other one up like a dummy. See, this is where having control would be much better. This is why I don't do auto battle on here when I'm doing videos. I forget all the time, though. I try not to. We try to do it as close to normal as possible. So now, hopefully, this guy's going to die before he gets his attack off. There we go. So let's see if they can handle this. These guys don't look as terrible as everything else. Too bad she didn't stun anybody. It's because we don't have any accuracy, unfortunately. We're decreasing turn meter of the whole team, and then she's going to come in and whack them in the face. Hopefully they can kill one of these guys before. There you go. We got a stun, so that's good. I'm hoping they can kill someone before it goes off. Well, I guess they are going to win. Maybe. Maybe they'll get frozen to death. Who knows? I have faith in them. I really do have faith in them. All right, so now we're down to the annoying heroes, which are pointless. These are the freeze heroes that don't freeze, right? What is it, Frostbringer? That brings 0 frost is what was it? Hell Hades says. It's like they bring 0 frost. Yeah, that's kind of what this is. It's definitely funny that you have a hero named Frostbringer that doesn't freeze things. All right, so look at that. They made it. We were able to do it, even though we had War Maiden die right there. That's the final fight before the boss in Doom Tower, and they were able to handle it. Yeah, if you turn off auto, then War Maiden wouldn't have died. You could easily have set it up a little bit better. You can set up so you have your skills ready to go every single wave, and then you won't have to worry about things. But there you go. These guys can handle the highest end of normal Doom Tower, and you can win with them. All right. The difference is with bosses, some of these you can't beat with only the starting 5. There's a few that you can. The spider is one that you can do with it. I just did a video on that. If you want to watch that, actually, I'm doing that video. That video will be tomorrow, actually, from when you watch this video, unless it's the future, in which case they'll both be out. But yes, the magma dragon at the higher tier might need some provokes or some other heroes. You can beat the spider with only using Armiger. So that's another hero you can bring into the mix if you want. He's an uncommon hero. But otherwise, all these bosses are essentially killable. I mean, Scarab King, you need Jizzo or someone who can do HP destroy. But most of these are this is a kind of a crap rotation. You can at least get through the beginning of the dungeons in here with the starting 5. And even the teams that you need to use other heroes for, the starting 5 are going to be spread out across all other teams. And just as an example, I haven't touched these teams in a while, but let's look at them. Filter, no, team setup. So some of these are old, some of these are new. All right. So Spider 20. This is still my Spider 20 team. Apothecary is in that team. All right. Dragon 20. Yeah, this is what we use for Dragon 20. Literally, the only change was Syl, and that's because she can revive. That's the only reason she is brought in and why Valerie's not in this team. Valerie can do it. We did it with it. It's just really hard, and you need to have your team very strong. We did it on another account. I think it was a video we did with this. Not another account, but another video. And they were able to do it, but I think it ended with Valerie and I think Spirit Host killing it. It was like literally down to the wire of 2 heroes, and they won. But this team right here can win anytime because she can revive everyone. So that's why we do that. It's because of time. Ice Golem 20, same thing. Look, Apothecary, we've got Spirit Host and Valerie. These are the teams we were using. This team is Fire Knight 20. They're a little bit different. That's a different fight. It requires a lot of turn meter manipulation, so that's why this team is now in there. But it works really well. Spider 15, this is where you're going to start to see some changes in Spider, is with different heroes. But as you can see, all uncommon, all rare. Look at that. Perfect. Apothecary, Valerie, and Armiger you're going to see pop up in a lot of these teams. Same thing with Spider 16. We use some weird teams here. Apothecaries and still teams to this day that I use for late game. You've got Odachi, which was funny. We've got some other heroes in here, but yeah, they're in these teams. Mostly the same 2 or 3, like Spirit Host, Apothecary, and Kale. You know, they rear their ugly heads, and this is just random teams right now. Some of these are my actual teams that I use, like from Dragon Hard. These are teams that I will be using, that I do use now, but yeah, the starting 5 is going to be used everywhere. Like, they're going to be used in these dungeons. They're going to get you through most of these potion keeps. They're going to get you through Minotaur. They can do all of these dungeons for you. All right, they can. It doesn't matter. You go in here, stage 15, right? Clear these guys out. We don't even, you know what? We don't even need it. Like, here, we'll just have these 2 go in. All right, let them take care of it. Right. This is Minotaur 15. All right, and you've got Kale, and you've got my girl Spirit Host. Let's see if they're going to kill Kale. I feel, because they're strong. I don't know if this is a boast or not. They're probably going to kill him. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. If they can get through the waves, we're fine. I don't know if they're going to though, because those Heart Seekers can destroy the shield, so that's not good. Luckily, he heals himself. It's like, did I try to do a boast that I can't match? We'll find out. I don't remember if Kale did this by himself or not, but he has lifesteal. So as long as it's just down to the one enemy where he gets one attack every round, yeah, he can heal himself up and not worry about it. Boom, hexing. And to be honest, Spirit Host will win this by herself anyway, so it doesn't really matter if Kale dies. She doesn't die. Like, she just won't die. It doesn't matter what happens. She's always gonna survive. She is that song, I Will Survive. But see, stage 15. All right, this is the last stage of Minotaur, guys. Like, this is, you can farm all your masteries with these two. Okay? Look at that. Boom. Done. All right. You can do anything with heroes that you build. All right. And that's the main thing of the starting 5 teams, is that you want to be able to beat things easily and getting through the early game. The early game is tough. All right. And you're going to have some trouble in here. And I want you guys to see that you can do these things with any hero that you want. I mean, this team synergizes well. And the reason I say that I want you guys to build this specific team is because it's easy to farm them. You literally can just go in and refarm these areas. And every time you farm a Diablist, you can use that copy of Diablist to increase the skill levels of her. So now you have to get what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have to get 10 copies of her after you pull her the first time. And then you have a maxed hero with all their skills maxed. All right. And that's why it's a good team, because they have everything you need to get through the beginning. They're easy to max, and you're not going to waste your legendary books and your epic books and all these other things and all these other resources and ascension potions that are really expensive to basically make a team that works, all right, and you're not going to waste those on heroes you don't know if they're good. So I would say, even if you do spend money, I would build this team and do it this way, all right? Literally get them started. It'll help you out a lot, and you won't have as many issues. It'll help you learn the game. That's the main thing, all right? You want to make sure that you can... Oh, what is this? Yeah, I don't care. You want to make sure that you can beat these things. Where's my boys? Where are they? Where's Spirit Host? Where is Spirit Host? Here she is. Spirit Host. And who do we want to try? We'll try our luck with her. I don't think it's going to be a good idea, but we're going to try it anyway. I still don't like Aethel, by the way, guys. Like, I don't care if she wins this. I don't care if she's a winner. All right. She's not a winner in my book. Question is will they win? I think they can. I think it's within their grasp, right? Even Aethel deserves a spotlight once in a while, right? That's the way things work. Hopefully he doesn't kill anyone right in the first round. All right, we're good. Oh, wow, that was ridiculous. So there you go. Brutal. That was brutal. All right. We're not going into Nightmare. That's a whole nother can of worms. But yeah, basically any one of these guys can work with the starting 5. And you're going to see that Spirit Host is going to show her head everywhere. Diablas will show herself everywhere. Those are the heroes that are going to keep you moving. And luckily, Valerie's there to kind of basically work with Diablist and make sure that you guys can stay alive until you get Apothecary. All right, so that is all of the heroes. I mean, basically, you've got a ton of heroes that are all free right from the beginning of the game. You can literally farm them in the first day if you're really that hardcore, because you do get a bunch of energy when you play through the first time. They give you a bunch of freebies, which is nice, and just from leveling up, you're going to get some energy and a bunch of energy refills. So there you go. I mean, if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. It's always great to hear from you guys and see what you guys think about these things. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, go into my champion playlist. You can check out all the videos and the original starting 5. You can see whatever you want. You'll see how my starting 5 team began a year ago and how they looked versus now. So that's kind of a good thing too, if you want to see the difference between a year of playtime between then and now and what they're able to handle. But yeah, I mean, these guys are going to get you through, and they're easy to acquire. You get them right from campaign, you level them up, and you guys will be smooth sailing for at least the first few months of the game while you level their masteries and do all the stuff you need to do and get through your early game content nice and easy until you get some of those more fun heroes that you get to see on all the other videos. All right, and as always, like, share, subscribe. It is great for the channel. You help us grow, and you will help me quit my job. So that's also the other reason. All right, so this is the starting 5 video of 2024, and all the starting champions involved and everybody that you can use to win this game easily. This is Mobile Gamer Nerd, And you guys take care.